Hey guys, it's Sunday night. I'm Slider, your host of the M Cluster, and tonight we have a full house. Today we got Brandon with us,
Hey guys.
and we have once again the lovely Amina Marx.
Hola.
And tonight we're doing the Princess Bride. But before we jump into that, we have a few words we want to say.
All right, guys. I know some of you who know us personally also knows our friend Leah. To those of you who don't know, last week our friend was found murdered in her house, and our hearts go out to her and her family. It's been a hard time for some of us that were very close to her. I know I myself took it pretty hard, and everyone who was close to her definitely was impacted by her life. The police are still investigating. We hope they find the person who did this. For those of you who knew her, knew exactly how she was like, crass, rude, in your face with her opinions, and definitely didn't care. But it was the best thing about her. Anyways, if you want to say anything, Jose?
Well, just that she lived her life the way she wanted to live it, and she didn't apologize for that. And that is one of the biggest things I respect out of anyone. And there's, I think, no greater testament to that than the fact that everyone that she came across, it was impacted by her one way or the other. We actually had a memorial this weekend, and it was just really good to hear people just tell all these stories about her, how they met her, how they interacted with her. I mean, there was a guy there that had only met her once. So that's how impactful she was on people. She's really going to be greatly missed. And we've been posting links and information on our pages, and anyone who knows anything, any information at all, we'd be eternally grateful if you could give that to the authorities. So that being said, we're going to go ahead and jump in. So this week, The Princess Bride. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's Rob Reiner, who comes from kind of an old school of writing and comedy. His father, Carl Reiner, was one of the giants, one of the legends. It stars Carrie Elwes, stars Mandy Patinkin, Andre the Giant. I mean, really, it's a full house. It's a Chris Sarandon, Christopher Guest, Wallace Shawn, Fred Savage for the Wonder Years, and it's essentially the story of it's a fantasy. It's romance. It's action. It's got pirates. It's got kidnapping and all sorts of stuff. And it's told in the context of a grandfather reading this story to his grandson who's sick, who the grandfather was played by Peter Falk, another great actor. And it was just such a wonderful story, and it's probably one of the most quoted movies of all time. I mean, people don't even know they're quoting it, as evidenced by some of the members of this panel.
Yes, I had not seen the movie until today.
That's ridiculous.
I don't understand how you got through life and not, yeah.
I don't know. Like I had said just a little earlier. I mean, I had never even really heard about it until until I met Slider, a few years ago. So it's not really something that I heard talked about.
Yeah, it's I don't know how you escaped hearing people talk about it, especially the group of people we hang around. I mean, most of the people we know can quote this movie verbatim. I know I can.
I can. Nobody will watch it with me anymore because I keep doing that.
Yeah, I was doing that before the show while we were getting ready. It's such a fun movie to watch, and it's interesting because it is such a love story that so many people find appeal in it, because and I think that just shows how well written and how well done it is, because guys like me, I'm not a sappy, mushy kind of guy, and I love this movie. Manly men, guys.
Yeah, it's what everyone wants out of their fairy tale.
Exactly. So it's a great story, and the acting is just phenomenal. Mandy Patinkin, I think, blows me away every time I watch it.
Mandy Patinkin is good.
But I could go on for the whole half hour by myself. But Mina, what's your thoughts?
Well, I watched it when it first came out, and you know, I watched it every time I can since then. If it's on TV, I have it on. I have 3 or 4 copies of it on VHS and DVD and Blu-ray, and it's one of those films that it people like it because it's simple and it keeps you wondering every step of the way. It's a fairy tale in the true sense of the word, and you have lovable characters. You have characters that flip-flop back and forth, and it always keeps you wondering because you have good guys that are bad, you have bad guys that are good. You love these characters. You want to see what happens. You want to make sure nothing happens to them. And throughout the whole movie, none of these people are ever happy. They're never safe. They're never where they need to be, and you're always kind of rooting for them. And so it's one of those things where it's like they did such a good job casting here because you have Chris Sarandon, who was in that cult 80s classic Fright Night, who also cameoed in the new Fright Night. You have Christopher Guest, who of course was in This is Spinal Tap, who directed A Mighty Wind and Best in Show, and as the Count. And you have Carrie Elways and you have Robin Wright, and they're just brilliant in here. And you can watch them and not think of them as actors. You just think of them as their parts. You kind of get lost in the movie that way.
Yeah, and this is actually Robin Wright's screen premiere, wasn't it?
I think so. I don't think she did much before this, no.
So we've been talking. Brandon, you're the resident newbie here. You watched it for the first time. What's your thoughts?
I really enjoyed it. It kind of surprised me. At first, I thought it was kind of going very childish, and then it took, I don't know, a more serious turn after I guess it got into it after the first 10 minutes or so. It was very silly the way it was, as you wish, as you wish. I was like, really? That's cheesy. But it hooked in the character for me.
Well, yeah, and it is cheesy, and it was meant to be cheesy. You know, I mean, it's not just what's happening in the story. It's also kind of an expression of the grandfather's love for the grandson. You know, and they even do that at the very end. You know, as he's walking out, you know, he's like, "Can you come back and read it to me tomorrow?" He says, "As you wish." You know, so it's a very corny, very cheesy expression, and it, I think, perfectly fits the situation that it's being used in on multiple levels.
And it does start off really cheesy, really sappy, and it's because all the characters are naive at the beginning. All of them are. And it's through the course of the movie that they get more sardonic, more they just have this sarcastic means to them, and they completely change how they see themselves, how they see everyone else. You know, you have the bad guys that have decided to do good. You have Wesley, who was kind of pissed at his bride there for a bit and then got over it, and then she ditched him, and then he got over that. And it's like there's a great character arc from being like sappy little naive people to at the end where they're just kind of like grown and they faced all these things and they're different people now.
Well, yeah, they're much more worldly. They've actually had things happen to them, whereas they all seem to. Well, no, I take that back. The main characters, Wesley and Buttercup, they were kind of sheltered in the life that they led. You know, Inigo had his father killed. He'd been you know, studying revenge his whole life, but you know, you don't meet him until later on.
He was a really cool character. I really did like him.
Really cool is an understatement.
Yeah. Yeah, well, at the end when he like pulls the dagger out of himself and just keeps on going, it's like that's badass.
Yeah. So you were saying, Brandon?
and he got more fuel from that almost. Every time he was saying his speech, you know, my name is Inigo Montoya, you killed my father, and, you know, so on.
Prepare to die.
Prepare to die. There's no so on. You just started. You finish it.
You've seen it multiple times. I can't quote it yet.
Oh, my God.
It's like, hello, you. Yeah, that.
My name is Sam.
Yeah. But at any rate, you know, and that's part of it, though. It's just the way that they wrote this story. You know, Vincini. You know, just inconceivable. You know, I love using that word.
I do understand that now. Every time that I've heard it.
It's like, oh, I can't believe I'm so upset that you didn't know what people were saying when they were doing that. You know, and let's be real here. There are certain things about this movie. There's a couple of holes. Like, no one's ever survived the fire swamp, yet they know what the 3 horrors of the fire swamp are. So if nobody's ever survived it, how'd they find that out? There's little tiny minor things that are wrong with this movie, but
well, not if you take into account that maybe everyone else were just pussies and never went in there.
Yeah, but how'd they find out about the danger set?
Well, they walked right into them.
So then they would have died. They wouldn't have been able to tell anyone.
Well, I'm sure that, well, and see, in the book, they go in a little bit more detail on this, where, like, the lightning sand was in other places besides the fire swamp. The RUSs had gone out of the fire swamp before, so those things were kind of known a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, those weren't things that were just, like, localized to that area. They were seen in other areas, but yeah.
That's actually a book I probably want to reread. I did pick it up
so good.
a long time ago when this movie first came out. I picked it up and I read it, but that was the only time I read it. I haven't read it since. But there's just so many memorable scenes, and goodness, the silly rhyming that Andre the Giant does, was just funny, and they focus on it so much, and like he's like, "Stop it! I mean it! Anybody want a peanut?"
Are the rocks ahead? If there are, we will be dead.
But the act, especially, I mean, Wallace Shawn Vicini just did such a good job as this character, and probably one of, if not the best all-time death scenes.
Yes.
When he challenges him to a battle of wits, he chooses the wrong cup, he drinks the poison, he's like, ha 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 ha.
The only other death scene that I liked just as much as that was from Pee Wee Herman in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie.
Oh!
Yes!
Oh! Yes! Yeah, but I mean, this is a movie, and as a matter of fact, it's kind of funny. We had it on when we were getting ready for the show, and there was an error, so it had to start over. And normally when that happens to me in a movie, first thing I do is try to get back to where I was at when the error occurred. Not this time. Let it start right from the beginning. Not a problem.
Nope.
I can literally just sit and watch this movie over and over and over. It's timeless. It's so meaningful and impactful, and the cinematography is wonderful. They do, everything looks realistic, but it's clearly set in this this fairy tale land.
I would disagree when it comes to the RUSs.
Well, okay.
Well, they did the best they could back then.
Yeah, there was no CGI. But I'm talking about the scenery, though. I'm not actually talking about the characters or the monsters or whatever. But like the cliffs. When they show the cliffs look real, but they're clearly filming in a tank.
The thing is, you don't care. You don't care that any of these things are sets, that they're little set pieces. I mean, you can really tell that they're just backdrops and all that, but you don't care.
Yeah, because that's how much it pulls you in.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the the Count and the Prince were just awful people, awful characters, and yet you still like them on some level.
Yeah. They've all got charisma of some kind.
Yeah. When she doesn't know that Wesley is, she's been kidnapped, and it's the Dread Pirate Roberts, and she doesn't know that under the mask it's Wesley. She's talking about how her prince is going to come to save her, even though she doesn't even like him.
She hates him, yeah.
So the fact that, she hates him, but she's able to speak of him in that fashion, I think, just is another one of those things where, he's a terrible person, but he's good at being a terrible person.
Yeah.
Count Rogan with the 6 fingers on his hand, Another wonderful thing is when Inigo and Wesley meet, he asks him, he's like, "You don't by chance happen to have 6 fingers on your right hand?" And Wesley's response is, like, "Do you always start conversations this way?"
But that guy was such a pussy, though, at the end there.
Count Rogan?
Yeah.
Tyrone?
Yeah, he was Tyrone. Yeah, he was a slime ball.
Well, yeah, and he was a good slime ball, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought he would have had more fight in him than he did. That was weak.
Well, I thought it was interesting the way they handled that, because when he comes across them and Inigo kills the 4 guards that are around him, he stops and sets himself to fight, and then runs away.
I know. No, I was hoping to actually get a good fight out of it, not that.
Well, nothing's going to top the fight between Wesley and Inigo, so why even bother?
Because it was cool.
You know.
Well, it's like Count Rogan was just like, he's just the textbook coward. That's why that's why he does torture. That's why he has the machine.
Oh, the machine, the suction cup machine.
Yes.
But
suction cups.
I did expect the hand switching from Wesley. Just the way it was set up, like he was going to only use his left hand, and then I saw Wesley using his left hand, and I was like, he's going to switch to his right just like the other guy is.
Because they're badasses.
Yeah, they're incredible. And, one of the wonderful
I can't
things...
do anything with my left hand.
One of the wonderful things about that scene, when they're talking about these fencing masters, they are talking about real fencing masters. They're not just making up character names, and, what they're doing and what they're saying is actual true for the period. But Dante and I were talking about this too when we were getting ready. He's like, I wonder if if you actually knew something about fencing, how bad they were actually doing at the fight. I would venture to guess that they were actually doing pretty well. I know they trained quite hard for that scene, and just it comes across so well on camera, and even the way the scene is set up, where they've got the stairs going up to that one part, they've got this random bar in between 2 rocks for no reason.
Yeah, for no good reason. They land on a trampoline, but that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So they use that scene so well, and then when the prince is tracking them, going into their footsteps during the fight, I thought that was a really good way to kind of emphasize how good of a tracker this guy is. He's
well, in the book,
legendary.
he has a zoo of death, and every level of the zoo is filled with more and more dangerous things, and he ends up putting Wesley in the top level, which has been empty the entire existence of it, because he never found a dangerous enough opponent until Wesley.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know that.
Really?
I don't remember that at all.
Well, it's in the book. The Zoo of Death is in the book, because
Yeah.
So he had to come out from the top level?
Well, no, they kept him in there and tortured him up there, and Inigo and Fezzik have to go through the Zoo of Death to get his body out when they want to get him resurrected.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah,
Really?
'cause there's venomous spiders and bats and all kinds of weird things in there.
Yeah, I really need to reread that. Well, hell, it's been 20 some odd years.
I wouldn't be surprised if they want to do a remake soon.
No.
Nobody will let them do a remake.
Mm-mm.
No. They're already making Gremlins, which is strange, but not this movie. No.
I'm just saying I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, I don't put it past anyone. They're trying to remake Casablanca. I mean, no, leave it alone. You can't do better than that. This
Casablanca in space.
No, this movie is as close to perfect as you can get. Okay, it fires on all cylinders: the writing, the acting, the scenery, the camera work. Everything about this movie is exactly the way it's supposed to be. Leave The Princess Bride alone. That's all
And
I'm
this
saying.
movie came out, in '87, and it's in that little range of the '80s that were known for like great fantasy movies. Like you had Labyrinth, you had The Dark Crystal, you had Crawl, all came out within like a 7 or 8 year span, and it was just like a great time for these kind of movies, and you don't see that anymore.
I haven't seen Crawl. I've seen the others though.
Crawl is good if you ignore a very, very blatant problem.
Please enlighten us.
Okay, well, the the bad guy kidnaps the dude's soon-to-be wife, and the wife is supposed to like transfer the fire in her hand over to the husband, and then that gives him like superpowers and shit like that. Well, he spends the whole movie trying to get her back. Well, he was right in the room with her when the monster attacked and the wedding ceremony was almost over. It's like, just fucking transfer it now, and I don't have to watch the rest of the movie. Really?
But
I'm taking 5 seconds.
But why would you want that? You want to see the movie. You want the story, right?
I just don't want people to be dummies either. I'm like, you're retarded.
Oh, yeah. All right. I love that movie. Stop it.
Liam Neeson in it as a Cyclops, and it's all, well, not the Cyclops, but and it's good. And I'll watch it every single time, but it's like, dude.
But another part of The Princess Bride, to get her off crawl for a second.
Asked.
I didn't know what I was asking for. Another part of The Princess Bride is, and I think, again, just another example of really, really good writing, is the old lady in Buttercup's Dream.
Boo.
Boo!
Boo! Rubbish.
I love watching that scene. You know, I love that old lady. She is just such a huge presence. And I think the way they shot the scene, too, really contributes to that. You know, everybody's on their knees, but she's standing up, speaking out against the queen at this time. So I think that in and of itself kind of sets the scene. But the way she delivers her lines are just—it's just incredible. I think one of the most incredible pieces of acting I've ever seen in such a short span.
I also liked Billy Crystal as Miracle Max and Carol Kane as his wife.
Oh,
Carol
that's
Kane
another
was the ghost of Christmas Present in Scrooge, which I love. I just love her and everything.
Oh yeah, she's hilarious. She's great, and the relationship that they have is wonderful. You know, and you get to see so little of it, yet you know everything about them. You know, we're told everything we need to know about that couple in a matter
you
of
can tell
10
how
minutes.
their daily life is. Yeah.
You know, you know, his hatred for the Count and the Prince and Humperdinck, such a great name.
Humperdinck.
Yeah,
and
that
Buttercup.
was ridiculous.
And you know, when he's like, I told you never say that name. She's like, what? Humperdinck? Humperdinck. 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 Humperdinck.
Get back, witch! I'm not a witch. I'm your wife.
They reminded me of the couple from the Never-Ending Story. The little I didn't even know, tiny people that were like an inch tall. I think it was like one of the Never-Ending Story movies. I can't. It's the first one.
Never-Ending Story is such a lie.
Is it? There's like 5.
Do we have feelings?
They lied to me.
Yeah, I never got past the first one. I think I started watching the second one, and I was kind of like, no.
Oh, Never-Ending Story is so awesome.
Yeah, the first one.
No, the second one was good too.
Oh, I saw the second one in the theater. I don't know
When
about
Bastion
that.
when Bastion went to Fantasia.
Well, it's like Bastion got all emo and angsty, and it's like, ugh.
So it sounds like something that would have come out now, you know. Except you
Well,
know,
it's like that one Harry Potter movie where all of them were the right age to be angsty and sarcastic. It's like, oh, you people.
Yeah, it's like I want the other people back, even though I can't stand Harry Potter. Yeah, I hate Harry Potter.
You know how I feel about that.
I said it. I hate Harry Potter. It's awful.
Well, you can't be perfect. That's all right.
I want to throw something.
I think my biggest, the most offensive thing I've ever heard about Harry Potter, it was really how they compared her to Tolkien. It's like, no, I'm sorry, she's not on the level of Tolkien.
Well, that's a reviewer's fault, not
Yeah.
not
You can't
hers.
look down on her. She didn't say that.
But it was just like that really just soured the milk for me. I was like, no, this is not Tolkien.
I wouldn't call it Tolkien either. It's a different style of writing.
Yeah, but it is nowhere near all engrossing and encompassing as Tolkien. I'm sorry, it's not.
Oh, I'll
It's
read those
very
books
engrossing.
like 5-6 times a year.
Okay, well, you should probably get a hobby.
That is my hobby.
Oh,
Reading
it
Harry
is.
Potter?
It is very
Reading Harry
engrossing.
Potter.
I've read it numerous times. I have the 7th book signed by 3 of the actors so far.
I'm sorry to hear that you spent your money that way. So anyway, The Princess Bride.
The host is being mean.
Are you telling on me?
Yes. Yes, I am.
So anyway, The Princess Bride. So I think we all agree on this. I think it's all it's a wonderful story. It's well done. It's timeless. The acting's wonderful. The characters are wonderful. Yeah, the ROUSs are kind of funny looking, but I'm okay with that.
That just adds to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, for back then, if that's the thing that confuses me sometimes is because you'll see a movie that has some of these qualities now, and you're like, oh, I hated it because it had that.
Because it's out of place in this movie. It's not out of place. In fact, it's perfect.
This movie is like kind of watching a play. It's like it has set scenes in the play, and then like they close the curtains, and then come to another set scene, and they do the best with what they can, and it's really, it works.
So, on that note, I think we're all in agreement, and we could just go on and gush and gush and gush and quote and go on all sorts of different tangents, but we only have half an hour, so we're going to go ahead and get ready to pick our next bill. And I think I caught Dante off guard.
I think so too.
So how was your weekend, Amina? Hey, we have Dante. Never mind.
Well,
what do we got going on here? Oh, he dropped the ball again.
so my weekend was pretty good then, yes.
Dante's always dropping the ball.
Okay, so we've got I-21, because you guys can totally read that.
I can.
Yes. I can read your ball.
That's right. What is that? Brandon, congratulations! Oh.
What? You know what? I hope it's Harry Potter. I hope it's Harry Potter.
It's so not Harry Potter.
Aw, that would have been awesome though.
It's Pocahontas.
Avatar? I haven't
It's-
even seen that.
It's
You
a
haven't
good
seen
movie.
Avatar?
I
It's a
have
good
not
movie.
seen Avatar. One of my friends gave me such shit for not seeing Avatar. I
It's-
should probably watch it.
It's probably one of the best movies that I hate. Because
Like Harry Potter?
yeah, well, no, Harry Potter is just crap. But you know what? I could go launch right into that right now, but we're supposed to do a show next week, so I'm gonna hold on to that. So
Simmer down on the hatred, man.
that's my thing.
Jesus.
So
That's all right, because I hate on, or actually no, I'm sorry. You hate on Star Trek. What am I talking about?
Yeah, no, you said it. You hate. I have it on here. You hate on Star
No,
Trek.
I stopped. I stopped. I said, oh wait, no, that's still you.
So, out of curiosity, Mina, you want to chime in on that? The new Star Trek?
I haven't seen a lot about it because I don't like to look at trailers and read reviews and stuff of a movie that I really want to see in the theater and want to be surprised by. But based on the actors they have in it and some of the screenshots I've seen, I'm excited for it. I'm really excited for it.
Okay.
I mean, I loved the reboot, and I think this one's going to be
Oh,
just as good.
wait. Block.
Thank you very much.
Block. Mute. How do I get rid of you? I hated that movie!
I know you do.
He's under the impression.
And we accept that about you, but we ignore it too.
He's under this weird impression about Kirk. He refuses to accept the fact that the reboot basically made a different Kirk because they had to, because he didn't live the same life.
Yes.
But they changed details that occurred before the timeline diverted.
They retconned it officially, so it is officially that way now.
Okay, that's still a change. They changed what was already there.
They've done that in lots of things.
Yes,
That's
you have
too
to let
bad.
it go, man.
No,
Let it
no,
go.
no.
And
not
just
for Star Trek.
enjoy
Superman, for
what it
example.
Oh
Superman.
well, you know I'm gonna have issues with that.
No, not the reboot. Leave the reboot alone. Superman in general has been retconned. He would be able to literally make up powers on his own on the fly before 1986.
And at the very beginning, he couldn't fly at all. He just jumped really high.
And before 1986, he was also he was strong enough to drag dozens of planets around on a chain. He was literally invincible.
Well, never mind how strong that is. That's one hell of a chain.
Yeah, you're telling me. But yeah, they retcon things
These are my
all the
planets. I'm gonna bring them with me.
time. They retcon things all the time. That is normal nowadays.
That's nowadays. You kids and your retconning.
You gotta move forward with the rest of us. It's 2013.
No.
And they did this back in the 80s.
That is not Star Trek.
Retconning happens.
It's not Star Trek.
It is.
Then don't go into it thinking it's Star Trek.
That's
Just
what it's
enjoy
actually-
it for what it is.
Think of it like this. It's the alternative timeline. It's still Star Trek, but it's an alternative timeline because the other timeline still exists as well.
Yes, this would be the version where a retard made Star Trek as opposed to, a genius, visionary.
I got nothing to say to you anymore.
Yeah. We're done with this.
So,
Every discussion ends in Star Trek. I just had to say that.
I had the cat piped up too. He knows.
Yeah, but he's on my side.
No one's on your side.
Oh, I beg to you know what? That's not a discussion for now. Guys, thanks a lot. This was a fun show. Amina, again, love having you.
It's great being here.
Look forward to your next movie pick. And it's just a real quick plug. She's got her YouTube channel. You want to go ahead and talk about that a little bit?
Actually, I've come up with a new YouTube channel. It's Rad Bad Movie Night, and I'm finalizing my first video for that, and that's where I will be kind of going over terrible movies that you should still watch and kind of explain why.
Like Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek. So that should be out soon. So hopefully, we can get that going.
All right, excellent. Yeah, looking forward to that. I miss your videos. It's good stuff. So on that note, we're going to go ahead and get this one wrapped up. And I'm Slider, Mina, Brandon. That's a wrap. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Or if you want to follow along with our antics when we're not in front of the camera, you can check us out on our social media pages on Facebook, Google+, or Twitter by searching for the M Cluster. Or you can leave comments in the field below. Or you can send us an email or give us a call. Heck, you can even write us a letter. Or you could buy us dinner. Or you could buy us a car. That would be awesome. Or you could send us on vacation. Or get us an Emmy. Ooh, a Tony. If you could get us a Tony, that would